What is up, guys? It is DigiWatchTCG coming to you with my Imperialdramon Jogress deck profile for BT8 format. Because we don't have these cards in hand, I'm using DigimonCard.io as my platform, and I don't get sponsored or paid anything to say this, but I do think it's a great platform. I think the ability to check decks out, or be able to build your own, or be able to see cards that have been released in the TCG or OCG is very, very helpful. Additionally, you can check your test hand, see what your security, what your main hand may look like, as well as be able to see what your deck breakdown is and be able to comment on profiles. With that said, please like and subscribe if you like the content on this channel, and please leave your thoughts and comments on how you think you can make this deck better, or if you agree or disagree with any of the choices. With that said, let's start. I'm going to start with the eggs over here. So I'm going to start, we play 4 Demi-Vmons here, so this is the one from BT3. When attacking, if you have jamming, then basically draw 1. I like this card because it allows you to have a draw engine in the beginning of the game, and also because jamming is a thing in this deck, so you definitely will be able to draw from it. The 5th card here is the other Demi-Vmon. Now, I keep this in here just because it is part of the theme, but you could also play Upamon, you could play other cards as well. It's more of a flex spot over here. For Vmon over here, I just mentioned before, you want to draw, so this is something you want to see early game. This is the jamming Vmon from BT3. Basically, there are combos to be able to swing into your opponent's security, chip away, draw 1, and then kind of continue your plays into like the other X Vmon, or possibly go into like one of your armors, which is what I'm playing in this deck. So then we have the other inherited, I call them inherited breeding area cards, because this one I don't want to ever like hard play unless I have to. This one is inherited of when it unsuspends, you can gain 1 memory. So that's why it's there. It just gives you an extra memory. Memory is good, we like memory. Then we have the Vmon from BT8 that's going to be released. It is reveal top 4 from your deck, add 1 2-color blue card among them from your from those choices to your hand, the rest go to bottom. This is good because it doesn't designate just Digimon. It could be Tamers, it could be options. Over here I have an option just for example, but basically it doesn't specify, so you could take anything. It's a bit of a good card for versatility in this deck. Then you have the other Vmon over here that is revealed the top 3 of your deck, add 1 with free in its traits to your hand, the rest go to bottom. Everything here is free other than Omnimon, so you'll be able to basically make sure you take something out of this. Now I might adjust the rookie ratio because I'm not sure what is going to work well and what's not. I think I might consider playing a 4th free in here and maybe reduce the Vmons to 2. I'm not 100% certain yet. I think once I have these cards in hand, I'll be able to play a little bit more. Then we have the Armor Purge over here. This is a small engine over here, but I figured first off it's dual color, which is good. Second, it's green blue. This is the light Digimon I'm talking about. It has Armor Purge. When you Digivolve, you suspend one of your opponent's level 4 level Digimon, but the main reason is because you consider this green and blue, so it really is versatile in what else is in your hand. And because it has Armor Purge, your opponent has to work to get rid of it. So if they don't want to get rid of it, or they can't really do anything about it, then you can usually go into like play a Stingmon, or get to your Stingmon, or get to your XVmon, and be able to DNA Digivolve on your turn. Also, it works really well with Davis Ken, which I'll get to later when I talk about a couple of the combos you could do with this deck. So the other one I want to play is 1 Magnamon. Now, this is a flex spot as well. I'm not 100% certain what I want this spot to be exactly, but for first off, these get a reduction in cost if you Digivolve over Vmon, which is very, very powerful. It is considered a blue card, and because it's yellow, you know, it doesn't necessarily synergize as great with the deck, but having that blue in it also does. You can unsuspend it when you play it, and it gains 2,000, and it has blocker. And so late game, this is a good card just to kind of stall your opponent, or possibly you can stall your opponent until maybe you get your last piece. Maybe you need to get your Stingmon, maybe you need to get to Digivolve on top of it, go into one of your other cards over here. This is again a flex spot, it depends. We have XVmon that has jamming, and then it has inherited jamming, so anything that is free or Imperialdramon in its name gains jamming, really good. We have Stingmon that on play, if you have a blue Digimon in play, then it reduces the cost by 1, making it a 3 cost to play. So if you have a Davis already out there, then basically you could play this for, put yourself to 0, and then Jogress Digivolve, and be able to do multiple swings, which I'll get into as another example later on. It also has the when attacking, if you have a blue Digimon in play, draw one. This is not a once per turn, so there's ways of drawing multiple times in this deck. Let's go to ultimates here. So we have majority of our ultimates being dual color DNA Digivolve targets, which is the Imperialdramon, which is probably the one of the most broken cards in this current deck right now. Being able to DNA Digivolve, be able to return one of their 6000 DP Digimon to the bottom of their deck is really powerful, but also being able to unsuspend on attack is very good as well. Even though it's a 4 cost to Digivolve normally, the way you should be doing this is by DNA Digivolving, making it a 0 cost to Digivolve. And if you think about it, that just means committing a Stingmon to the field, which is a 3 cost, which is kind of like that DNA requirement. Then we have the Dinobemon at 3. I might play around with the ratios here, but basically when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. When DNA Digivolving, it doesn't become unsuspended during their next unsuspend phase, which is very powerful. It also has inherited of being able to gain 1000 DP for each of its colors. So because all your cards above it are pretty much dual color, they will both be gaining 2000 DP. And if it's under if Omnimon is on top of it, it will go up to 15 because it considers its color just one color, so it's white. So just basically the ultimate lineup. We also play the Imperialdramon from BT2 or BT3, and basically it has jamming and also has Imperialdramon. When it has Imperialdramon in its name above it, then it can unsuspend, so it can allow these ones to do multiple attacks if necessary. So then going on to our megas, we have 3 copies of the Imperialdramon Dragon Mode. This is your main reason for playing the deck. You basically are able to take one blue and 1 green from under its stack that's level 4 or lower and be able to play them automatically. So this allows you to DNA Digivolve pretty much right away into whatever you're going to go into, whether it's Imperialdramon or Dinobemon, or you can use it for other reasons as well. You could leave your board wide if you want to. It depends, but it's the main reason you playing this deck like this. That's pretty much that effect. So then there's the one of Fighter Mode, which I'm really excited for. I'm hoping to get this pretty early on when I'm picking up boxes. So when Digivolving, return one of your opponent's Digimon with 10,000 DP or less to the hand. That's pretty much any level 5 or lower. Then when attacking, if a blue card is in this Digivolution card or in the stack, then unsuspend one of your Digimon. If a green is in your stack, then suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So this is relevant for a few reasons. Number one, this allows you to swing into your opponent's security and then be able to unsuspend it and be able to attack over one of their Digimon. Or you can potentially attack for 2 checks on their security. Additionally, you get rid of problem cards, being able to bring them back to their opponent's hand. So this is important because stuff like Mastamon, stuff like what's it called, Chaos Mode and stuff like that, you can basically get rid of, but you may not want to obviously get rid of them in Chaos Mode on their opponent's side of the field. So that's the reason why this is here. The only issue I have with the Fighter Mode is that it is a 5 cost to play. So if you're going right over your Dinobemon or Imperialdramon or anything like that, then it's a full on 5 cost. If you're going over your your Dragon Mode, then I think it reduces the cost to like 2 or 3. So that's just something to think about. Again, it might change. I might take this out for a 4th copy of Dragon Mode depending on how the format looks. Going into our level 7 is Omnimon Blitz, so Blitz for game, or just be able to clear a card out of their field. Very powerful. I'll skip the options for a second. I'm going to go to the Tamers. With the Tamers, we have 3 Davis, which basically can get you a green or a blue, which is great in this deck because some of these cards are dual color. If you ended up just looking at the top 3 and maybe it was 2 Imperialdramon, you could technically take 2 Imperialdramon, 1 for green, 1 for blue. Then we have Davis over here, so this is important to mention, but it is start of your main phase, not start of your turn. So you can promote a card from your raising area to your main battle area, and then basically you can use the effect to gain 1 blue or green. But this, keep in mind, this is not like you can attack, do something, and then gain memory from Davis can. Once you promote, you then can choose to gain the memory, or you will gain 1 memory. So Davis and Ken really is relevant in this deck because if you bring out like the Light Dramon or something like that, then you automatically have fulfilled this requirement, being able to have a green and a blue on field. That means that if you have Davis and Ken and Davis on the field, then you probably go to 5 on your turn. So that's a really good effect. So the other effect over here, also just to mention, is that when one of your Digimons digivolves into a Digimon with 2 or more colors, you could tap the Tamer to be able to unsuspend a Digimon. So like I said before, there's ways of unsuspending your own Digimon to gain like the extra memory from this Vmon over here. So that includes the Magnamon itself. I don't know if DNA Digivolving actually does it, but I think it may. You also have the Light Dramon, so if you Digivolve into Light Dramon onto a Vmon or something like on this Vmon, then you tap and maybe you swung into your opponent's security and somehow survived, then you can tap the Davis to unsuspend this Light Dramon and gain a memory from Vmon. So it's just some combos here. And again, for this one, if I didn't mention it before, the way that this combo works with Pyojimon and XVmon is you swing with XVmon and then you would DNA Digivolve with Stingmon into Pyojimon. Because it loses Summoning Sickness, you can swing again with it, then its effect lets it unsuspend, so you swing for the 3rd time. And because you have XVmon underneath it, it does get jamming. So that is very, very important. So going on to our... These are not really side deck cards. Oh, I'm sorry, I actually almost missed the other options. So 3 Hammer Spark because you like to extend plays, and when they hit it in security, they get mad. Ice Wall because it's Ice Wall, just a really good cost-efficient card. The last one is Positron Laser. I really do like Positron Laser compared to some of the other cards. Because it is green, it does work with pretty much all the different dual colors, and also if you have Stingmon on the field. Early game, it probably won't do too much for you, just because you won't have like a Vmon. You know, it doesn't work with if you only have Vmon on field here. But Positron Laser is up to 2 your opponent's Digimon can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. Then if you have a blue Digimon in play, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to their hand. This I think is just very powerful, and I think it's personally a little bit better than the Megadeath card. I'm not 100% certain, but I do like the ability to stun their opponent's Digimon using this card. Again, it's a flex spot. I think that I'm going to see what else works in this deck and what can make it more consistent. But going into the other options of other choices here, I'm going to make this very quick because I don't want this video to go too long. I'm going to start with the ones that I don't really have too much confidence behind, and then go into the ones that are probably like just better options to put in. So first is the Vmon over here. Is if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, trigger draw 1. So early game this is very good, but late game it may not actually help too much, because usually late game you have more than 7 in hand, so this really won't do anything for you other than just be a body. Then you have the Megadeath. Now Megadeath is a dual color, which means you have a blue and a green on field. To activate it, and you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then return one to hand. It's one suspended to hand, so it is good for clearing boards, but I'm still figuring out if this is what I want to run, or if there's another card if I want to run like the Positron Laser or something. Then we have Innocence Blizzard and Death Parade. So I wasn't 100% certain on these cards either. If the format turns out to be one where your opponent's going wide, I think that these are actually good cards for it. Being able to strip all the sources off of everything on the field and then stun up to 3 Digimon is very, very powerful. Death Parade kind of does a similar effect where it trashes 2 from everything on the field, and then if you have a green Digimon, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards. So it is a relevant card because you are meeting both requirements, but you know, if your opponent is only playing like 2 cards on field, it really doesn't do too much other than just get rid of some of the you know, Digivolving requirements sources. Then we have the Imperialdramon that basically unsuspend itself if you Digivolve it, and then you can swing into your, when Digivolving, unsuspend all your opponents, all your Digimon with jamming. This is not really too much of a jamming deck. Like, you'll usually only have 1 Digimon that has jamming on field, so I don't see really too much relevance with this card, but I feel like there is some way of making this more compatible with the deck. Lastly, the cards that I find are the most relevant are the blue memory boost, just for consistency. The flower cannon over here is a really good resource management tool. Basically, if you have a green on your side, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then if it's hit insecurity, you can actually suspend all your opponent's Digimon, basically kind of ending their turn unless they're playing like hybrids or something that can unsuspend their Digimon. And then the other cards to mention here are Stingmon. So this is just kind of like another consideration for a flex spot. You could potentially put this where Magnamon is. It digivolves from green or blue, and it gives it piercing, so that might be something to consider. And then of course the last two is the hidden potential and the paladin mode. So I feel like since hidden potential is a one of, it is very inconsistent with the deck. You potentially are going to draw into it maybe at the wrong time, and also because you have to suspend one of your Digimon to activate its effect, it may not actually allow you to continue your turn. It may just allow you to basically do a bounce or something to your opponent's Digimon. Like if you go into your Imperialdramon Dragon mode, Fighter mode, or if you go into your Imperialdramon Paladin mode. And that's the other one. So this is a really great effect. Being able to return one of your white Digimon from your trash to the bottom can reduce it by 4. So if you are playing the Omnimon in that build, then basically you can reduce the cost, but usually that's not really a big deal. But if you're playing the hidden potential, you can go into this for basically 2 instead. And then when digivolving and when attacking, you return 1 2-color from your sources to the bottom of your deck to trash one of your opponent's Digimon on the field. Sorry, trash all the sources of one of your opponent's Digimon on the field. Then return all of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards to the bottom of your owner's deck in any order. So this is very, very powerful. It is a board wipe type of card. 16,000 DP is a lot, but right now I'm just having trouble trying to find out where I would want to put it and what I can take out for it. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions, please leave that in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Are you playing Imperialdramon the next format, or are you playing something else? Well, anyway, that's the end of the video. Hope to see you soon. Take care.